Okay, what a day, you guys. What a day. What a lot of days. I don't know if you noticed, it looks a little different behind me right now. Okay, first off, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Hannah and this is Jar of Fireflies. Here you'll find content all about my life as an Orthodox Jewish homeschooling mother of 3. And today, I'm taking you guys along for a day in the life. Okay, so I just finished getting everybody some pancakes for breakfast, myself included, quite delicious. And this morning I went for a run, and that's kind of where we're at so far in our day. Now, this week is crazy. It's been crazy. I mean, the holidays have been crazy because they're holidays and there's just a lot going on the holidays. So mix all that in with what we've got going on behind me. Like I said, I don't know if you noticed, it looks a little bit different back there, like everything's missing. And we also walked by a bunch of boxes just now. Okay, so yes, we're moving. Okay, but we are not moving forever. We are moving temporarily out of our house so that we can get the remodel like really kicked into gear, doing things like putting new floors in and doing the kitchen and things like that, like the really big things. Okay, so we will be out of our house for an entire month and we have to literally pack everything and move out. Whew. I know. So yeah, there's been kind of a lot of that going on, just packing boxes in between holidays and things like that. We haven't gone back to school this week, even though the holidays were over and it was my plan to go back to school. It's Tuesday and we still haven't gone back to school yet. And I'm okay with that because we're very busy with this packing and stuff like that. And we can kick it back into gear next week after we're out and have moved into our temporary residence. So that's some basics of what's been going on here. And then I've got some other updates to give you, but it's just a little crazy and noisy around here. So I'm going to do that as a voiceover while I'm doing some more packing. Okay, so my oldest is doing some math for school on the computer and the little kids are watching a video while they finish up their breakfast in the kitchen. So, okay, so let's talk about this move, this remodel. Okay, so first of all, where are we moving? We are moving to a short-term rental here in the neighborhood. So we're not going to be too far away, which is great. We're still going to be able to walk to services. I guess by we, again, I mean my husband on that one, because me and the kids are not going these days with the whole pandemic situation. But my husband will still be able to walk to services on the weekend. So that is really, really nice. And we'll still be close to all of our friends that we know now from our synagogue and that sort of thing. So that is super fantastic. We were thrilled to be able to get a place here in our neighborhood. Like I said, we will be there for 4 entire weeks, so having the short-term rental as a house was really important to me. I did not want to be in a hotel with 3 kids and a dog all day. That was not sounding very fun to me, but a house we can handle because we will have a backyard for the dog and the kids to play in. There is a playroom in the house, just plenty of room to run around. It's an entire house. So it's going to be a great fit for us as far as needing to be somewhere, not here, while they're doing things in our house. So leading me on to my next point. Nice segue there, eh? Okay, what are we doing to our house? Okay, so a little bit of background in case you missed this. I don't remember how long ago I mentioned this in a video. It was a long time ago. But we rented this house for like 5 or 6 years. I don't even remember. It's just been a long time. And then our landlords wanted to sell the house. And so they came to us first and were like, hey, would you guys like to buy the house before we put it on the market? And we said, yes, we would. So we bought the house from our landlords earlier this year. And after probably a year of kind of back and forth with the landlord, he wasn't in a huge rush. And, we were trying to save money to, buy the house and do the remodel and all that stuff. So the timing of everything worked out really well, and we purchased the house officially earlier this year, and we have started doing some renovations. We did the pantry by taking out the old pantry and the wet bar and the closet, and then making our laundry room bigger and putting in the big walk-in pantry. And we've also been doing some other things around the house, like our house has those popcorn ceilings. We've been scraping those. And we've also worked on starting to retexture some of the walls in the house. Basically, the walls have a texture on them right now, and I would prefer that the walls be smooth. So we have finished one room of that, started working on other areas of the house to smooth out those walls. And it's taking time, and it was just something we could start doing slowly, but that's that's, again, some of the things that we're going to be working on this month while we're out. The other big things that we're going to be working on this month while we are out of the house is totally remodeling the kitchen, new cabinets, new countertops, like I said, new floors throughout the entire house, retexturing the walls, finishing all of that throughout the entire house, remodeling the bathrooms with new cabinets and counters and all of that so that it flows with what we're doing in the kitchen. Getting a new bathtub finally. My bathtub right now, you guys, it is literally being held together by duct tape. It's kind of sad and pathetic looking, but I'm very excited to get a new bathtub. Our shower is also in desperate need of a little TLC. It's, a lot of cracked tiles and things like that. It's kind of a mess. So I'm really excited to get that redone as well. I'm super stoked about the new floors everywhere. I do not like carpet, and we have carpet in the bedroom, so I'm excited to get rid of that. The flooring that we have in our house is this tile that has a lot of mismatched tiles, has a lot of cracks in the tiles. The portions of the flooring in our home that are wood, it's not, I don't even know if it's real wood or what it is, but it's not a very high quality, whatever it is. So it has a lot of, damage that's showing to it, and it's not something that we're able to repair. It has to be replaced if we want it all to match. So yeah, there's just a lot of stuff going on there with the floors. And we're also getting new windows, which is going to help with our air conditioning bills so very much. Windows is something that we have wanted for a long time. Oh, and that does remind me of a couple other things that we have already done earlier this year is we did get a new air conditioning unit for the house. We did that actually before we purchased the house. We went ahead and did that, but that was on our own. And then we also had foundation work done on the house earlier this year as well, because that is something that you have to do before you can do any of the other fun stuff. So yes, we've been working hard, getting a lot done on the house already, and now it's kind of time to just jump in and do a bunch of the really big stuff. In order to do the floors, we have to move everything out, so that's kind of the big thing. And then, not having a kitchen for a while we redo the kitchen is obviously a large inconvenience. So I'm super excited to be able to have this rental house while we are doing the kitchen and the floors. It's just going to make life so much easier. It has been really fun to do things like pick out paint colors and pick out tile and a new bathtub, especially the bathtub, and, just things like that. It's been really fun to kind of do that process together with my husband. We're still married, so that's a perk. We may never agree on furniture, but we have been able to agree on tile. So we're going to, keep our old furniture and get new tile. The kids have also enjoyed getting to choose some stuff for their rooms. My daughter has basically a mattress and box springs on the floor right now, so she got to pick out a new bed that we'll purchase when we move back in. And both my older kids were able to pick out paint colors for their rooms, so they are really excited about that. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun to get this done, and it's going to feel like an entirely different house when we come back in, because of the amount of work that we're redoing here. So that is a little exciting and also makes me very nervous all at the same time. I hope that I'm making the right decisions. I'm not that good at picturing what everything is going to look like together. That's really hard for me. So I have to do a lot of searching on Pinterest to try to figure out, what do I like and how does that really look? But I think it's all coming together. Okay, that is probably good for now as far as packing goes, for at least for the moment. The kids are all out back playing. I don't know if you can hear them back there yelling and screaming in the backyard, having a blast with the dog running around. And I'm gonna get to work on lunch. I found this fun recipe online and I will link to it below in the description, but I'm gonna go ahead and make it now and I'll tell you guys what it's all about. Okay, so my husband had smoked some chicken the other day over the holiday for us, and we had some leftovers, including like an entire chicken that I found still wrapped up in the refrigerator. So I Googled online and I was like, I literally typed in, what do I do with leftover smoked chicken? And I found this really cool recipe for like kind of a baked potato smoked chicken thing. Looked amazing, sounded awesome, so we're gonna go for it. Let's do this. Okay, so the ingredients for this were pretty simple. I actually had everything here at the house already that I wanted to use. I definitely took a few variations from the actual recipe. So if you're more interested in exactly how I did it, I will tell you, but I'm sure that the recipe is going to be fantastic, just as it is. Possibly even more fantastic than how I made it. So actually, probably because the original recipe called for bacon, but I obviously don't eat bacon because I keep kosher as a Jew. Okay, so to start with, you just need to cube some potatoes. The recipe called for red potatoes. I happen to have these yellow or golden, whatever you want to call them, potatoes here in my kitchen, so that's what I used. I didn't pay too close of attention as far as how many potatoes or like a weight or anything like that of the amount of potatoes that I should be using for this recipe. What I did instead was I cut them up and went ahead and put them in the baking dish that I plan to use to bake the potatoes, just until I had like a nice covering of the bottom of the pan to where I felt like it was kind of a substantial amount to go with the amount of chicken that I was assuming that I would put on top. I'm not so into following recipes exactly if I'm not baking, and even when I'm baking I tend to sometimes take a few liberties, but yeah, especially something like this. So once I got the amount of potatoes ready that I needed, I did transfer them into a bowl to mix them with the olive oil and salt and pepper that the recipe called for. Again, I didn't measure any of this, I just kind of did it. Now, super exciting, I got to use the olive oil that came in my Lev HaOlam gift box just the other day. This was the first time that I was able to use it. I was super stoked, and yeah, it was kind of amazing. Okay, so yeah, I just mixed all that up, the oil, salt, pepper, and potatoes, and then put it back into the container, smoothed it out a little bit so it's ready to go into the oven. The oven was at 400 degrees, and that was supposed to go in for 40 minutes. Okay, so while those potatoes were cooking in the oven, I got to work on shredding the chicken. This definitely didn't take 40 minutes, or at least it should not have taken 40 minutes, but I have kids and I was interrupted many times. But basically, you just want to shred, the recipe called for like a pound of chicken. Again, I just kind of eyeballed it and was like, how much chicken do I want on top of my potatoes? What sort of ratio would interest me? And that's what I did. So I got to work on shredding all of that. And then once that was done, I grabbed some barbecue sauce. I was using Sweet Baby Ray's, which is incredibly delicious, in case you were wondering. And again, I think it called for like a third of a cup. I eyeballed it and just kind of poured leftovers of 2 bottles into my chicken. And then my son got to help me stir it all up because he wanted to come and help me cook. So the recipe also called to top this with chives when you serve it. So I'm growing some chives. So my son and I went outside and I taught him kind of how to cut the chives, to harvest them, or whatever you want to call it. So we did that. And back inside, the 40 minutes was up, so I pulled the potatoes out of the oven, gave them one more stir. I did stir them at about 20 minutes, so about halfway through, just to help them cook nice and evenly. And so anyways, pulled them out, and then I topped them with the chicken that we had mixed with the barbecue sauce and just kind of spread that out kind of even. And then that went back into the oven for about 10 minutes. I think the recipe called for 12. You know me, not following the recipe, possibly on principle at this point, whatever. It's just really to get the chicken warm. And if you are putting cheese on top, which the recipe does call for, but I don't mix cheese and meat includes chicken. So I did not include cheese on mine, but it did look really good with cheese. So then that came out of the oven and it looked and smelled amazing. And then we served that with some vegan sour cream and our fresh cut chives. So it seemed kind of simple and I was like, really, this is it? But I have to tell you, it tasted amazing. All right, so I just came out here with the dog for a minute to let her do her thing while the kids finish up their lunch. Then we're headed out to nature group. But I wanted to give you guys another update. See, there's been like so much going on. It's just crazy. All right, I have started running and I've been really enjoying it. It's so funny when I told one of my friends this, she goes, on purpose? You know, yes, I'm running on purpose. It's quite fun. It's great for the dog. Of course, it's great for me. And so far, so good. And I signed up for a half marathon. Yes, I signed up for a half marathon. I'm pretty excited. I used to be a runner. If you've watched my 50 Fun Facts About Me video, you know that I've done some ultra marathons and Ironmans and stuff like that. But in the past, I guess about 8 years, 9 years since I got married, I have not raced. Haven't even really worked out. So this is kind of a big deal. Like, it's coming back after like a really big break to do this. So my race is in about 2 months. It's on a trail and I'm super stoked. It's going to be amazing. So I've got my training plan all set up and I have officially begun my training. And yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be a blast to get out there, just to get out there and race again. I really miss it. I love running on trails. I love racing. I love the atmosphere. And it was super hard to find a race this year too, guys. Oh my gosh. Almost all the races were canceled or were made virtual because of COVID, which I totally understand. But I'm not interested in doing a virtual race. I wanted to do like a real in-person race. So I just kept digging and digging. And then a friend, oh my gosh, this sun is like so bright on the side of the house. I'm gonna come over here under the tree. Better. Okay. I talked to a friend of mine who does some running. She recommended to me a couple of race companies that were still doing in-person races this year. So here's the other hard part about finding a race is I can't do a race that's on a Saturday because of Shabbat. I can only do races that are on Sundays. So because of COVID, this race had their policies set up where people were running in these small groups. They're starting off in a small group. Running's a very individual sport. You end up getting separated from everybody pretty quickly. So for that little bit at the start line, you'll start together with a small group and they have starts like every 30 minutes throughout the weekend. So I just chose a Sunday morning start time and now I'm good to go. So yeah, definitely adventure getting back into this. And I'm hoping to do some more races in the spring. You know, this one will be a winter race, which in Texas doesn't really mean a whole lot. But yeah, I'm stoked, I'm excited, and we're gonna make a little family trip out of it. Okay, so that's kind of what's going on here. I'm gonna grab the dog and we're gonna get back inside, get these kids ready to go to nature group. Come on, girl. So we made it to nature group and it was an absolutely stunning day. I mean, it's been gorgeous here lately, so I was not at all surprised, but it was definitely a perfect day to go to the creek. We went to a different part of the creek than we have been. This area is not as shady, but it is shallower and easier to get to, but it is a farther walk from the car. So, you know, everything has its pluses and minuses. I loved it. I thought it was just fantastic. Because it was all a lot shallower, I felt more comfortable there with my little kids, and there was tons of room for the big kids to really spread out and play. At one point, my toddler pulled up a bunch of little towels and took a little rest there because we were there for quite a while. So he enjoyed getting to kind of rest there, but then he started to get a little bit of a second wind. But the other kids played straight through the entire time. There's my toddler. He's just kind of playing in the dirt there. He was asking to go home for maybe 30 minutes there towards the end, but I was really enjoying staying and watching the other kids play. And you know, once he got settled here on the ground playing with dirt and digging for shells, he was doing a lot better. It's just always so fun to watch the kids play out here in just such a natural area and just be very, you know, wild and free and just playing in nature and, you know, without any structure, without any toys, without any ideas, but just here, go and play. You know, I think it's so important for the kids and I love that we get this opportunity. So I thought I'd come down here by the creek and say hi, but it is kind of loud in the most beautiful way. But we are at nature group. The kids are playing, having a blast. We've been here for, I don't know, we played on the playground for about 30 minutes. Then we came out here to the creek. We've been here for about 2 hours. So I don't know how much longer we're gonna last, but we seem to be hitting a second wind, at least where the toddler is concerned. So we'll be here a little bit longer. Okay, we're leaving the creek now. We're bringing up the tail end of our group. We're one of the last families to leave. We're all leaving now. It's almost 4:30 and we still have to walk back to the car and figure out about dinner, which may just be more of what we had for lunch because that was really, really good. So that's where we're at right now. Yeah. All right, so we're home from nature group now. It's like 5:30, so I am gonna make dinner. I am pretty beat. Somehow my daughter is outside riding a tricycle right now. And you hungry? Okay, give me just 2 minutes. Give me just 2 minutes, okay? So yeah, I think we are in need of a snack while I make dinner because everybody's super hungry, worked up an appetite there at the creek. And yeah, I'm just gonna make dinner, which is literally going to be exactly what I made for lunch, but everybody wanted that again. Totally okay with that. It was super easy and delicious. And then a little bit later on this evening when my husband gets home, he's gonna take my daughter out to Starbucks to have a little daddy-daughter time, and then me and the boys are gonna watch Star Wars. So that's what's happening here tonight, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it a close here because I'm just super beat and tired, and that's pretty much the end of our day. So thanks you all so much for being here. I super appreciate it. Want me to open it? Okay. Here we go. You're welcome. What was I saying? Okay, yes. Thank you all so much for watching. I super appreciate you. Be sure to hit like if you did enjoy this video and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss any of my future videos. I hope that you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in my next upload.